Hey! This is Mr. Poddable. In this episode, Jack faces the darkest truths yet, as an unexpected alliance shatters his world and pushes him to the brink of chaos. The world was falling apart around me. It wasn't the slow, steady unraveling that comes with time and neglect, it was a violent, catastrophic collapse, like a dam bursting, flooding everything in its path with destruction. My mind was a whirlpool of fear, confusion, and desperation, and every breath felt like a battle. Emily was gone. The Emily I knew, the woman who had been my anchor, my partner in life's chaos, was no longer there. The person who remained was a ghost, a fragment of someone I used to love. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut, doubling me over with a pain I couldn't describe. I didn't know if I could save her, or if she even wanted to be saved. My hands shook as I dialed the number. I wasn't sure who I expected to pick up or what I'd say if they did. But I needed to do something, anything, to break free from the paralysis that had taken hold of me. The phone rang, once, twice, and then a voice on the other end, cold and unrecognizable. "We've been expecting you, Jack," the voice said, sending a chill down my spine. "It's time you learned the truth." The truth. It was a concept that had become increasingly slippery, like trying to grasp water with my bare hands. Every time I thought I had a hold on it, it would slip through my fingers, leaving me more confused and lost than before. But I had no choice. I had to follow this path, wherever it led, even if it meant confronting the darkest parts of myself. I was given an address, a place I didn't recognize. It was a part of the city I had never ventured into, a place that didn't appear on any maps. The instructions were clear: come alone, no weapons, no tricks. I had no reason to trust them, but I had even less reason not to. The journey to the location was a blur. The city around me, once familiar and comforting, had become an alien landscape filled with unknown dangers. Every shadow seemed to harbor a threat, every face was a potential enemy. My paranoia had reached a fever pitch, and it took everything I had not to turn the car around and drive as far away as possible. But I couldn't. I had to see this through. The building was an old, abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, the kind of place that would have once been bustling with activity but now stood as a decaying monument to a forgotten past. The windows were shattered, the doors hung loosely on their hinges, and the whole structure seemed to sag under the weight of its own history. I stepped inside, the floor creaking under my feet, the air thick with dust and decay. The darkness swallowed me whole, and I had to fight the urge to turn and run. But something kept me moving forward, a force, a pull that I couldn't resist. "Jack," a voice called out from the shadows, stopping me in my tracks. "We've been watching you." I spun around, searching for the source, but saw nothing. The voice was everywhere and nowhere, echoing off the walls and seeping into my mind. "We know what you've been through," the voice continued, its tone almost sympathetic. "We know your pain, your struggles, your deepest fears. And we know what you've done." The words sent a shockwave through me. They knew. They knew everything. My heart raced as I tried to make sense of it all. How could they know? What was their game? "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice trembling despite my best efforts to stay calm. "What do you want from me?" Silence. Then, slowly, a figure emerged from the shadows, their face obscured by a hood. They moved with a confidence that unnerved me, each step deliberate, calculated. "We want to help you, Jack," the figure said, lowering the hood to reveal a face I never expected to see again. "But first, you need to help us." It was Emily. But not the Emily I remembered. Her eyes were cold, distant, filled with a darkness that sent a shiver down my spine. It was as if she had been hollowed out, replaced by something else entirely. "Emily, what have they done to you?" I whispered, barely able to get the words out. She smiled, but it was a smile that held no warmth, no recognition. "They showed me the truth, Jack. And now, it's your turn." She moved closer, her eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made it impossible to look away. "You think you know pain? You think you've suffered? You have no idea what's coming. But I can save you. I can make it all go away. All you have to do is trust me." Trust. The word felt like a foreign concept, something from another life. How could I trust her? How could I trust anyone? "I don't understand," I said, my voice breaking. "What's happening, Emily? What is this?" She reached out, placing a hand on my chest, and I felt a jolt of electricity course through me. "This is the beginning, Jack. The beginning of the end. But it doesn't have to be. Not if you're with me." Her words were hypnotic, drawing me in, filling me with a sense of inevitability. But something inside me resisted, a tiny spark of the old Jack, the one who had fought tooth and nail to survive, to protect those he loved. "What do you want me to do?" I asked, knowing that whatever it was, it would change everything. She leaned in closer, her lips brushing against my ear as she whispered, "Join me, Jack. Together, we can control it all. We can be unstoppable." The offer hung in the air, heavy with implications I couldn't fully grasp. This was the moment. The point of no return. I could feel the weight of it pressing down on me, suffocating me, but there was no escape. And then, just as I was about to answer, a deafening explosion ripped through the warehouse, the force of it throwing us both to the ground. The world around me erupted in chaos, smoke, fire, debris raining down from above. I struggled to get my bearings, my vision blurred, my ears ringing. "Jack." Emily's voice cut through the noise, urgent and filled with a fear I had never heard before. "We have to go. Now." But it was too late. The walls were collapsing, the floor giving way beneath us. I reached out for her, desperate to pull her to safety, but she was already gone, swallowed by the chaos. I stumbled to my feet, every muscle screaming in protest, and made a break for the exit. The world outside was just as chaotic, flames licking the sky, the sound of sirens wailing in the distance. But I couldn't stop. I couldn't think. All I could do was run. As I escaped into the night, one thought echoed in my mind: nothing would ever be the same again. Yes. This revelation leaves Jack teetering on the edge, with everything he knows hanging in the balance. What comes next could change everything. Thanks for listening, stay curious, stay awesome, and as always, keep it poddable. See you in the next episode.